blog was really kind of a way to maybe capture some of what went on in the plenary and make that accessible to people, but also as a bridge then into the work of SPRAG, which had only just begun. And I think one of the key messages that I really wanted to come across that I didn't actually come out and say, it was much more implied, was that we need a both and, that that if we honor and incorporate like formal knowledge in this process that isn't at the exclusion of informal knowledge of people's experience, that that we need people's ways of being and their values and how they are with children and young people, just as much as we need their skillful endeavors, just as much as we need their knowledge base. You know, head, heart, and hands is a really nice handle. And in the plenary, even their bodies, which, you know, involves both affection and touch and that sort of thing, or in situations of keeping children safe. And definitely I'm interested in the needs of both children and young people, their physical bodily needs, especially in moments of distress, as well as what carers need in those moments. And so so trying to hold on to all of that. And I guess the key message in doing all that is not just that it's complex, because I think everybody knows that, but that we really have to hold on to that complexity when it gets difficult, and to resist the temptation to kind of simplify, which was going on at the time in the way that it was being represented sometimes in meetings or in one particular newspaper article that that I had been aware of. But sometimes there's something human about wanting to revert to simplifying things to make them more manageable. So that was probably kind of the key thing that I was trying to get across, as well as just how challenging that is, and what's required of people to do that, and that we need to honor that. The other thing that that was implicit in there that I didn't come out and say, but that's really very much there in the background, is the issue of qualifications. And, you know, restraint, I think I did say restraint possibly more than any other area of care, epitomizes how complex and demanding the work can be at times, and how much of people's knowledge, skills, and their self that they bring to the caring endeavor is really challenged. And so I think part of me was trying to make a strong argument for a qualification that really equips and supports people to be able to do that, to rise to those moments consistently when they're needed. And you know, I don't think we need high qualifications for the sake of having high qualifications as some sort of status thing for the field. I think we need the right qualifications that really do equip people, so that we're not kind of throwing them in at the deep end and then blaming them when things go wrong, as well as a infrastructure of qualifications that equip then people who rise into leadership positions in the field. And Scotland is in some ways leading the way on this, and in other ways we've had to pause this. And so so looking back on the blog 2 years on, I guess that's the other thing that jumps out at me, that it was there in the background, but probably it's time that we kind of bring it back into the foreground.